If you would like to find out more about what to do with your fabrics that you consider ugly, please keep watching. The first way to use up ugly fabrics is to use them as linings. Now we have, traditional lining fabrics and lining materials, but if you have a fabric that you consider ugly or you don't think you have found any use for it yet, they can really come in handy as lining fabrics. So you may not necessarily need to use them with like white fabrics or fabrics that are see-through, but they can really come in handy for fabrics that are like prints or have like really deep dark colors, and so the linings wouldn't seep through, and yes, they can really come in handy as lining fabrics. The next easy way to use your ugly fabric is to pair it with a very bold color. So let's say you have a fabric that has tones of, let's say, sky blue to it, but you can't really find what to use it for or how to just incorporate it into your projects. Pair it with like a very bold color, say red, and somehow that bold color will find a way to work with that plain fabric and make it stand out. So yes, you can pair it with a bold color to change the look of your project. The next tip, or the next way to use up your ugly fabrics, is actually to embellish it with like stones or crystals or decorative pieces. Or you can also use decorative techniques in your sewing to make your ugly fabric look really pretty, like using gathers, using plaits. The next tip, or the next way that you can use up your ugly fabrics, is to actually pair it with the traditional black and white colors. As long as your fabric has probably tones of whites or blacks to it, you can definitely pair it with your white or black fabrics to just add some depth to whatever project you're working on and make it also look unique and also become useful, so you don't just have the fabric lying there and not doing anything for you. So yes, you can add it to your projects, your white and black projects, to make it useful as well. Now, another way that you can use up your ugly fabrics is to use it for sturdy projects. Use it for projects that need a lot of strength or require some durability or need to be really tough. And for example, you can use it for projects like tote bags, you can use it for projects like purses, things that need some durability, or pillowcases as well that can stand a lot of washes. And you realize that those fabrics that we consider ugly are actually sometimes really sturdy. The next way to use up your ugly fabrics is to use it to practice your sewing. So I make beginner friendly sewing tutorials and DIY videos, and ugly fabrics helped me when I started learning to sew. So I think they will really help you if you're starting to sew, looking for fabrics to use for your projects. And I will link a video here, somewhere here, or somewhere towards the end of the video, or in the description box, about where to source for fabrics if you're a beginner sewer. And in that video, you're going to see different ways, different places that you can get really good fabrics for really affordable rates that will help you practice your sewing when you're just starting out with sewing. So yes, for your ugly fabrics, you can definitely use them to practice. So let's say you have a pattern, or you have a jumpsuit or a pants pattern you want to replicate, and you have a really nice fabric that you want that dress or pattern to be made of, but you are still learning the ropes, so you don't want to really like make a mistake. It's really going to be handy to use your ugly fabrics, so you can make that project using that fabric that you consider ugly, and then see how it turns out, see your mistakes and whatever errors you make there, you learn from it, and then you can rip off the ugly fabric pattern you've already made and use it to make your proper fabric dress or pattern or whatever you're trying to make. So yes, you can definitely use them to practice your sewing, to get better at sewing as well. The next way to use up your ugly fabrics is to use them as hems, pockets, or whatever parts of a project that are not visible. At first, yes, I did mention linings, and this is quite similar to using them as linings anyways, but with this particular point, I am saying you can use them. So say I'm wearing a shirt now, and you can use your fabrics on the hems of, say, the wrists, like the cuffs here. You can use your ugly fabrics on the cuffs, you can use them around your neckline, you can use them for your sleeves, you can use them to make bias tapes as well to hem your clothes. So because you consider them ugly, they might not really be useful otherwise to you, so they can really come in handy for those projects or those parts of sewing that are not visible to the outsider, but you as a sewist or the sewer, you know what is behind the scenes. So yes, you can definitely use that ugly fabric for your pockets, your cuffs, your hemmings, your bias tapes, things like that can come in really handy. The last and definitely not the least easy way to use up your ugly fabric is to use it for your face masks. Everyone is wearing face masks right now all over the world, and if you are just starting out sewing, or if you're trying to sew, because a lot of people actually started sewing during the pandemic, so those fabrics that you consider ugly, that old bed sheet, that old curtain that you don't really know what to use it for, can really come in handy for your face masks. I've made a couple of those myself, and yes, I think they can really come in handy during this time. So you're not going out looking for where to buy brand new fabrics to use for your sewing projects, and yes, they are affordable because you have them already at home. So yes, they can really also come in handy for your face masks. I think that is the end of the video and the end of the tips that I wanted to share with you guys. And guys, trust me, I have used all these tips, or almost all of them, and I think they really work to help you use up your stash, because we have a lot of stash as people who sew. I can count them here. I have like 3 here. I have some in my closet. I have them just everywhere, and I'm trying to start using them up because when you go out and then you find new fabrics and they just keep calling to you, and you go and get them, and then they start piling up and you just have a lot of fabrics. So hopefully these tips will help you find certain projects that you probably have not thought of to use up your ugly fabrics, or fabrics that you don't think are really fabrics you want to wear or make really pretty things in. No fabric is really ugly. It all comes down to knowing how to create beautiful projects out of those fabrics that you have, and hopefully you have gained certain tips from this video that you can implement. Another last bonus tip is to use it for your sewing machine cover. So if you have a sewing machine and you are looking for a very durable, functional cover for it, of course you don't want to use your pretty lace fabric or your pretty cotton fabric, summer dress fabric. You can use up your ugly fabrics as well. So that's a bonus tip, and you can use that to cover up your sewing machine. I have not made that myself. In fact, I am going to do that after this video, and I'm going to make a sewing machine cover. So yes, you can definitely make your sewing machine cover from that fabric. With that, I am really happy to have shared these tips with you guys, and hopefully they come in handy in your sewing journey. Please leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and also turn on your notification bell so you can get my videos whenever I post them. I make beginner friendly sewing tutorials and DIY videos, and I want to help you get more confident with sewing. I'm also going to share with you all the tips and tricks that I have learned from sewing, and also all the trials and errors that I have made as well. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves and see you later.